Hello, Madam Treasurer. This is Kenya Calvin, Group 2. We are presenting library management system, and I'm going to talk about a few things about what we used in our tables. First of all, in our database, we have just about seven tables, and we have tables of members. We have a table for author. We have a table for publisher. Yeah, genre, and then book, which was the types of books we have in the library, and also the one of book copies that keeps track of the number of books available in the library. So due to time, let me talk basically about how we created the concept of creating these tables and maybe enforcing a few constraints in them. So we have this SQL command here, and this is the command we use to create our members table. And it has a syntax. We use this create keyword to create. You say create table to create table. Then you specify the member's name, the table's name. I mean table's name. Now within this is the relation. So within this relation or table, we have what we call attributes, and every attribute which is like a column. This is a column that stores a given type of data. For example, in our members table, I'm going to focus mainly on this. We have the member ID table, because this specifies the column. I meant the member ID column, and we are saying is of data type int, and we are auto incrementing it, but it's the primary key. And because this is the primary key, by default this cannot have null values, meaning that it can't have null values first and foremost. Secondly, and it cannot be duplicated. You cannot have two members with the same member ID and then the same thing appears for this is the another data type name, and it's a variable character data type. This is the data type variable character, and we are saying that this is not null as well. And the reason as to why we are enforcing the not null constraint is that we don't want to have a table that has missing information. Like for example, a member, we cannot have incomplete details about a member. For a member to be fully registered, we must have his complete details of what we require for our table. And we did the same thing for contacts. Now for contacts, we have unique. Remember that just like member ID, which is unique for every member has a different member ID. The same thing happens to for the contact column. This is because two members can't have the same column. We don't want someone entering the same contact twice for different members. We don't want to have that problem or that inconsistency in our database, and that's why we tagged it unique, meaning once you enter a number or a contact for that particular member, you cannot enter the same contact for another member, because we need to have a way of contacting each member directly, each member separately in case of anything. And this is not null as well, and the same applies for data, for address, start date and end date. So these are the sample queries that we have that we use to create our tables. So author ID, this is the author table. We have author ID, auto increment, primary key, same things. These are basically the same thing. Then we have this publisher table. This publisher table contains a foreign key. Remember, this is a publisher table, but it's linked to the author table, because for every publisher, he publishes a book written by a given author. So that's why we have a relationship between those two. So we are saying, to enforce this constraint of foreign keys, we are going to use this keyword, these keywords, this, and we are saying this is a foreign key, and the foreign key is author ID, and it references author. This is the author table, and it's referencing it at the column of author, and we are saying on delete cascade. The reason that's why we are saying that on delete cascade, this is because When you come to publisher and you delete a publisher who published maybe a given book for a given author, it means you have taken or you have deleted the author also, the author's details as well. So when you come and maybe you delete author ID, I mean publisher ID, for example, 6, it means that all books published by that author, by that publisher, they are rated to a given author, they will also get, even that author's details, they will get they will get deleted. And even the author, it's linked to the book ID, to the book table through, it's linked to the book table as well, which means even the books themselves also get deleted. So basically, the same thing we have here. This is about foreign keys. Then I'm going to talk slightly about insertion of data into these tables. And we are saying to insert data. Remember when you first create the data and then enforce the constraints and also name the attributes in the table. We don't enter information directly there. So we come use this insert into keyword. So we say insert into, then you specify the table for which you want to insert the data. Then these are the attributes. These are like placeholders for where every member's details are going to be put. For example, when you look at this line here that we are entering details of John, we are saying at the position name, enter this string Johnny Doe. And at contact, remember for contact is also a variable character. We are also going to input this. At that position for address, this is the same thing. Start date. So these are position holders for every member. And then when this happens for every data you're going to input, you have to enclose it in brackets and specify the positions for where that data is going to be input. I would like to call my colleague to come and continue from there. Minimize it. We want stop.
Hey madam, this is Noel Cyrus Luchu. I want to talk about the enforcement of constraints as used in our library management system. We have different types of constraints like the not null, the unique, the plain key, primary key, and the default and check. But here specifically I want to talk about the not null, the primary key, the plain key, yeah, those three. And on the not null, that one only ensures that a column does not have null values. And then the primary key. The primary key identifies the record uniquely. Like here on the in this table of book copies, we have the book ID. All the records in the book in that column of book ID should be uniquely identified. Then we have the foreign key. The foreign key ensures that a value in one table matches a value in another table. For example, here, still in this table of book copies, the foreign key, this foreign key is ensuring that it is referring the book ID in another table. Okay, referring the two tables having the same record, which is book ID. Yeah, that's all.
Hello, madam. This is Navidia Shadia from Group Q. We are working on a library management system. Like in any database system, data must be kept accurate, clean, and efficient. So there are three or more commands that help us manage data. But me, I'm going to talk about the three. As my colleague has already talked about the create, insert, data. So I'm going to talk about update, delete, and drop. So I'm going to start with update. For update, it modifies the already existing data. So the code snippet for update is update. We are going to, for the example, a member updates their contact. So we are going to update the member's contact. So we update the table where we are going to update from, update member, update member. You say set contact equal to, you put the new number the member has updated to in single quotations. Let's say the member is now using another number, let's say this one. Then you set it where you identify the exact place where the member that is updating their contact, their exact location. That's why I use where member ID is equal to, let's say 200, because we had already entered data in our database. Yeah, this is the code snippet for update. So then we are going to talk about now the delete, where we remove specific data. For delete, it permanently deletes one or more rows from the table. Yeah, for a scenario that I'm going to give, that its snippet is a damaged book needs to be removed from the system. So if you want to remove a damaged book from our library system, we are going to come and say delete from book, because we are deleting a book. Go down, say where you locate where the book is, where book ID, where the book ID is equal to, let's say 201. Yeah, that is the code snippet for deleting. Then lastly, drop. We're going to talk about drop. And for drop, it completely removes a table or database. Let's say we want to remove one of our tables, and we have a lot of tables here. You can decide to remove one of the tables, because you see from here we created many tables: create table book, create table guinea, create table book copies. So we can decide to remove some tables. Therefore, its code snippet is drop, let's say table. We are going to use table book. We can delete the table for book. Maybe if you want to remove it, that is it. Or if you want to delete the whole database system, you say drop database library management system. That one. Yeah, you terminate. Yeah, this is the code. Thank you, madam. I think that is what I'm going to talk about. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Imamut Juliana from Group Q. I'm going to take us through some of the queries we implemented in our project. Now, queries are used to retrieve data from the database. For example, if you want to retrieve all the information that you inserted in the book table, we select all from the book table. When we run this piece of code, it gives us all the information of the attributes that are in the book table. We have the book ID, the title, the author ID, and the genre ID. Now for the subqueries, these are implemented in such a way that there are more than one queries in one. So the inner query is implemented first, which helps us to execute the outer query. Now for this example, we're trying to get the book title, the book ID, and the title of the books that have been loaned out. So we select distinct book ID from loan, which is in the inner query. The distinct keyword enables us to remove duplication in the result table. Thereby we are returning only the unique book IDs. And the in keyword enables us to retrieve specific data in the where clause. So after running this, we are getting the book ID from the loan table, and in our output we shall have the book ID and the title of the books that we loaned out. So running this code gives us the book ID and the title of the books that have been loaned out of the library. Then in queries, we also have joins, whereby we are joining two or more tables. Now for this we are carrying out an inner join on the loan table and the members table, and the inner join is on the attributes of member ID from the loan table and the member ID from the members table, where the return date is null. So this is where the books have not been returned. Yes, so we're selecting the name and the contact and address from the members table. Running this piece of code gives us the name of the person who borrowed the book, their contact and address. Thank you.
Hi, madam. This is me, Stephen. I'm in Group Q, and I'm going to talk about library management system, that is school library management system specifically, and that was our problem definition. So I'm going to talk about the ERDs. The ERDs, what do I mean by ERDs? The ERD has an entity and attributes. So what do I mean by entities if I talk about an entity? An entity is simply, for example here, it's a loan. The loan is an entity. Members is an entity. Genre is an entity. Book is an entity. Author is an entity. Publisher is an entity. Book copies is an entity. Therefore, we have seven entities. So that's okay. I think we have understood that. Then maybe I can also talk about the attributes in an entity. What do I mean if I say an attribute? I mean, for example, maybe I can use members as an entity. An entity members has attributes member ID, name, contact, address, start date, and end date. I think now we have understood the difference between the entities and the attributes. Yes, that's okay, we are good to go. Maybe someone can ask, how are they fixing this? It is okay, it is simple. Come and click in this and see how we are doing this. It is simple. You just table name, of course, it is members. Then after that, you come and create your column, like you write your attributes. Like for example, here we have member ID, name, contact, address, and others down, of course. If you continue doing this, is it scrolling down? You'll see those other attributes having such, which is okay. Maybe I can try to simplify for you. You may say we have understood here and we have not understood here. It's fine, I can explain it also. So we have the data type. So after writing member ID, you come and say member ID. What's the data type? Is it an integer? Is it a string? What is it? Then after identifying what you want, you come and say, yes, it is an integer. Yes, after saying it is an integer, it is good to go. You go down name. What is it? Is a vulture. You continue like that until you reach down here where the data type, they're telling you it's date. That's okay. That's the start date and the end date. The data type is date. That's good. Maybe I can continue here down. So maybe we're going to continue about the primary keys. What's a primary key? You can ask yourself, what's a primary key? A primary key is a unique identifier of an entity all over a table. I think you have understood that. It uniquely identifies that specific table. It's okay. We can continue to NN. NN meaning not null. What do we mean if we say not null? Not null means that that attribute of an entity is not empty. It's not empty and therefore it has data in it. I think we have understood that. Very good. So maybe what's different here, I can come and talk about contact. The contact is a vulture. The contact is not null. I've explained this. So we are also going to talk about the unique UQ, meaning unique. What do I mean if I say unique? An attribute is unique. What do I mean? I mean that that attribute is unique to every person. For example, here in members, every person is having a unique contact is here. Two people can't have similar contacts. It's not. So that's why we make it unique to make our tables, all entities, very well understandable. So we made it unique so that if we query out maybe some data from it, you cannot get confused because contacts is very unique to each member. Yes, that is it. Yeah, I've talked about that. Maybe I can go into this. I've explained that. Yes, that is it. So maybe what I've not talked about is maybe you're seeing some of you can ask that what's the difference between I'm seeing this, I'm seeing this, then this. What's the difference between them? Yes, I can explain this. The book ID and the book ID. Someone can ask, I'm seeing here the book ID, then as well I'm seeing here as the book ID. You told us this is a primary key and this is also a primary key, but again it is here. Yes, it is there because it is called a foreign key in the long table. What do I mean if I say a foreign key? A foreign key helps us to relate between different entities, all tables. It connects, it unites, all it tries to tell you that this one is related to this table. Yes, what do I mean that? So for example, I can show you that this arrow is showing us relationship between loan and book. What's the relationship between loan and book? The relationship is one to many. What do I mean? One book can be borrowed very many times, can be gotten as a loan very many times. Let's continue to uh, uh, member ID and member ID decide. You're saying they're similar. Here it is a foreign key. Here, it's a primary key. So what's the relation? The relationship is one to many. Very many members can get loans. Sorry about that. It is one member can get many loans. Can get many loans. That is it. One member can borrow very many books. So that is it. That's the relation between that. So let's continue to book. Maybe I can take you through the book and which one may be not clear here. Maybe the book and the book copies. One book can have very many copies. So the relation is one to many. One book has very many copies. That is it. Maybe for the case of time, maybe the other relations, it's maybe let me just say it. It is one to many. One author can write many books. Then author to publisher. One author can have very many publishers of his books. Then the relation between the genre and the book. One genre can be had by very many books as what does it mean? Let me explain this. So one genre have can be had on different books. What do I mean? Very many books can have one genre, so which identifies them. That is it. I think I'm done with the relationships, and that is it. You're good to go. Maybe let's do the last part of it. We do what we call forward engineering, and we do that. Then we continue very fast here. Then we continue here, and then you see there are 7 tables. So we continue there. Very good. We are good to go, and I'm happy because of this. Finally, I have my code, and it is good. So that is it. Thank you so much for listening to me, please. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much, madam.